Next up is a so-called Lollipop plot, or sometimes called Cleveland plot. Probably some guy called Cleveland has invented it. It's basically a dot plot flipped on the side, and the two dots are connected with a line. And this plot is useful if you want to show differences between groups. For example, here we have differences between male and females in their grade point average. The grade point average is on the x-axis here, by each course, right? For example, so in the course called strategy, females perform better than males on average. They have a 2.7 grade point average versus a 2.6 point grade average, right? So this is really useful to comparing groups alongside another grouping. And let's look into how we're going to do that. Here's the R code, again as in the previous videos. Rather than building the code step by step, here's the full code, including the data cleaning and manipulation needed. And I'm just going to walk you through each line here. Again, if you're working on your own graph, it will need some customizing. You got to look up details online and go search for them, right? So building on the students data set, we're first going to do some data manipulation. First, we're going to turn the grades data into long data, right? Because as you know, in our original students data set, the grade information is in a wide format next to each other from 2010 to 2020. So we're going to convert that into a long format. We've done that a bunch of times before. We're then going to group by each course that students are attending and by their sex, so male or female, right? And then we're going to create a GPA, grade point average grade, which is the mean of each group within each course. Okay. Let's take a quick look at that. 55 observation, here are the courses, here each sex breakdown and the corresponding grade point average in that course. We're going to also kick out the missing values. The function notavailable.omit, na.omit, and then just brackets, kicks out any missing values in the data set, right? I think this is the first time we've actually been using it, but it's useful if you're sure that any missing value in your data set can go. So this is what we do, and then we're going to feed this information into the ggplot. We have the grade point average on the x-axis, and on the y-axis we have each course. Let's see if it already shows something if you just run this chunk of the plot. Okay, so the area is defined. We have all the different courses offered at the university here on the y-axis, and we have the grade point average on the x-axis. Now we're going to add the Geom point, similar to a scatter plot, right? It's going to add dots for individual observations on the plot. We're going to define the size of those dots with 3, and we're going to let actually the dots vary by color, which is determined by whether they're males or females. So let's see how that looks. Okay, not bad. Here we already know turquoise is male and kind of reddish females, and we can already start comparing the grade point average for each of the courses. Okay. Well, let's also add a line that actually connects both dots, and to tell R where to put the line, this horizontal line, and which dots to connect, we have a group argument here, and we determine group equals course, so R knows that it's going to have a line for each course level. Okay. All right. So far, so good. Now we're going to change the theme. We have a custom theme here, which we previously downloaded, right? Don't forget to load HRBR themes, the G cookbook, and remotes packages. You need to load all of them to be able to run this plot and apply this customized theme. You also need to download, if you haven't already, some font sizes, and you can do this within the HRBR themes package, import roboto condensed in brackets. This will automatically pull some fonts that you need for the plot, and where this comes to play is the theme _ipsum TW here, where you define a very customized theme which the package downloads, right? Again, it's not something I came up with. Lots of people contribute to R, and somebody wrote this particular theme and this particular style of the graph. I merely found it online and using it by loading the package and applying it to my data here. After choosing that new customized theme, I'm also manually changing some things in my graph. For example, I'm taking out horizontal grid lines, right? That you can currently see the grid lines are sort of behind the graph and they're sort of distracting. So I'm going to take them out in the theme argument here. Let's run that and see what it looks like. All right, looks pretty good. The whole plot is clean, and we can now easily compare grades by sex for each of the course. And we see, for example, the largest differences here in macroeconomics 1, that course, and we see that males apparently perform better than females. However, there are other courses like strategy or microeconomics 2 where females appear to be better performing than males. Again, all this data is made up, so right, it's not really for interpreting the results, but just to merely show you how to produce such a graph. All right, next up, ridgeline plot.